Sylvie here. Today I want to talk to you about how to stop all of the negative, fearful, ugly, unpleasant stories that we all tell ourselves on a daily basis. So let's get started. Alright, so lately I've been talking to you guys a lot about the soul and the ego. You're definitely going to need to understand what I'm meaning by that to go through the rest of this video, so just briefly I'm going to touch on it again. The ego is that annoying roommate in your head that tells you all these negative and fearful stories and doesn't play the role of the best friend, it plays the role of the protector. And when you can understand that the only thing the ego knows how to do is to protect you from situations because it is that primitive brain, it's there to, for example, stop you from putting your hand on the stove when it's hot. Like, that's the only way that it knows how to operate. It operates off of fear. It knows that when you have a fear, when you have a doubt, that's its time to shine. That's its time to step up to the plate and do its job, the only job that it knows how to do. And your soul is the one that believes that you can do things, that has visions for your future, that has desires, hopes, and dreams. Let's say if we're looking down a path, I mean, the one that the ego has basically has a fence put up, and the one that the soul has is a path of like sunflowers, gardens, and sunshine. So when you understand the difference between the ego and the soul, you're gonna better understand how to use what I'm about to tell you. So what I like to visualize these two voices in my head as is like Pac-Man. And as I mentioned, the ego is the one that just loves fear. So whenever you have a fear and you all of a sudden start to have all these crazy negative thoughts like, you can't do that, what made you think that you can do that, let's definitely stay home tonight and not go out, the one that tries to discourage any type of decisions that you have for your future, that is the ego eating. It's like surviving off of fear, and the more fear that you feed it, the more and more it's going to thrive. So let's say you have doubts about a future move you're going to make. Like, definitely I can relate to when I was going to move to Rome. There was a lot of fears, there was a lot of anxieties, and of course there were times when my ego was coming into play and it was having the feast of its life. Like the grandest Thanksgiving, Christmas feast it could have, because I had all of these doubts, these anxieties, these fears about what was gonna happen to me on the other side. It would have these times when I would feed into it for whether it be an hour, whether it be for 5 hours or a whole day. I just let the ego feast away on all these fears and just live its crazy, negative, but just overall very protective life. Whereas the other Pac-Man over here, your soul, is the one who wanted me to go to Rome anyways. And this Pac-Man knows that in the future there's abundance, there's love, there's joy, there's travel, there's all different types of life experiences waiting for you, and you wouldn't have this vision and desire if it wasn't meant to manifest, if it wasn't achievable or attainable to me, and it wasn't meant for my greater path of understanding. I wouldn't have had these visions for myself anyways. So as I got more and more in tune with identifying which part of my mind was serving me, I decided to feed that one more. The ego only serves you the only way it knows how. And we can't hate our egos, we're gonna have to be roommates with them for the rest of our lives, but we can choose to starve the ego when it's getting a little bit out of hand. So by choosing, no, you know what, I wouldn't have this desire to move to Rome if it wasn't meant for me, if there wasn't magic waiting on the other side. The ego starts to close up. The ego doesn't know what to do because you are choosing to feed the soul. You're choosing to feed positive emotions, positive thoughts. You're starting to visualize what might happen on the other side, and just attracting abundance within your mind. And the more and more that you can feed the good Pac-Man, the part of your brain that's nourishing your soul, the more and more unstoppable you're going to feel, the more and more confident you're going to feel in yourself, and the more and more those bad, negative, fearful stories are going to diminish from your mind. And each time that you choose to take action on what your soul is desiring, so for example for me, moving to Rome, I took that action for myself and I physically got on the plane, I physically got off the plane, I settled in, and now I've lived here for about 3 years. Now, if there's ever another move that I'm going to make in my life, a big move, like whether it be, you know, to another city or another country or another continent, the ego can't even decide to try and feast there because I've already diminished any possibility it has. I already know within myself what I'm capable of and what I have done, and the ego has no place there. I've starved it completely in that department. And thus, by choosing decisions for me, it all becomes more clear because I know my path and I'm conscious of my path, and I've chosen to feed the part of me that only wants joy and pleasant experiences. I've mentioned this to you guys before and I'll continue to mention it again, is that we all came forth to live happily ever after. We all came forth for happiness, joy, experience, love, and abundance, and we are the only ones who are holding ourselves back from that. We are capable of achieving anything that we desire. And we all have different dreams and desires. For example, my big dream and desire was to move to Rome, Italy. Maybe yours is to move to Iceland. Maybe it is to move to California. It's amazing that we all don't have the same desires, because then we can identify that we're all here meant for different pathways. We're all meant to do different things in different places, and we're all meant to serve the world in our own unique ways. So it's time now, especially moving forward in 2019, decide and set the intention not to hold yourself back anymore, not to feed the ego, but to feed the soul. And it helps me to think of Pac-Man, like I told you guys, but the more and more you can starve your ego and take action on what the good Pac-Man wants, the soul Pac-Man wants. You can tell that I was definitely a gamer when I was a kid. The more and more you can feed the positive thoughts, the positive path, and take action on that, the more and more you're going to diminish the negative stories you tell yourself. So start to take actions for you. Start to take actions from your heart, from your soul, and really get in tune to what you want. Because when you choose to access the path of the sunflowers and all the abundance and not just stay at the gate, you are going to access just the most incredible life for yourself. You're going to feel fulfilled on a daily basis, and you're going to be fulfilled to the extent that no one or no thing can take that away from you, because you feel so content and so centered inside with the amount of trust and action that you put forth for yourself that you're just truly unstoppable. Anyways, guys, I hope that this helped you, and please let me know what you're going to take action on this year. I would love to hear from you. I just love reading all of your positive comments and getting connected with you. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up or subscribe button down below, be sure to click the little bell too. And I'll be seeing you again very soon in my next video. Bye!